Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, continuing to take a look at the next week's slate, heading back down to the ACC as NC State heads on the road to play Virginia Tech, and some really cool storylines surrounding this game. One, Virginia Tech at home, Lane Stadium, a chance to get to a bowl game. Year two under Coach Brent Pry, and what you're looking at here is this Virginia Tech team really starting to turn the corner. And if you're Virginia Tech, you're not only excited about the finish of the 2023 season, but the future of this program under Coach Brent Pry. Was there some growing pains year one? Absolutely. I think this Virginia Tech program was left in a really bad spot for Coach Brent Pry. You're seeing them turn the corner. And then you look at NC State, and the narrative around this program this year has been a down year for NC State. And then you look up, they're 7-3 overall, 4-2 in conference play. That just speaks to what Dave Doeren has built this NC State program to be. The expectations are high. This is a very, very good program in a great spot under Dave Doeren. Two coaches and two programs I have a ton of respect for. Really excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. The support you guys have shown for all of these game breakdowns, it truly does mean a lot. I love doing this. You guys giving me the opportunity to do this. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And I want to start with this Virginia Tech offense going up against an NC State defense that is death taxes. NC State having an extremely good defense. Tony Gibson, one of the best defensive coordinators across the entire country. And you look at what they do great. I mean, they're just solid in all aspects of the defense, right? Only allowing 20 points per game. That's 28th in the country. 4.9 yards per play. That's 27th in the country. Peyton Wilson is one of my favorite players in all of college football. I mean, that dude, he just plays the game the right way, and you're going to see him do a ton of different things in this defense. Kind of a defensive chess piece, if you will, blitzing off the edge, playing the off-ball backer, flying around the football field, being kind of the tone setter and leader for this NC State team. They're elite against the run, only allowing 3.5 yards per rush. You look at the back end, only giving up a 57% completion percentage, a 6.6 yards per pass mark. That is both top 30 in the country. When you're as solid as NC State is and as disciplined and as tough as they are on the defensive side of the football, I mean, that's what you get. Another top 30 defense for Tony Gibson and Coach Dave Doeren. A ton of respect for this NC State defense. You look at this Virginia Tech offense really starting to hit its stride. And yeah, they had a kind of a hiccup against Louisville. And I think Louisville is just a really, really good defense. I think that's a really good team in the ACC. You look at what they did against Boston College. You look at what they did against Syracuse. You start to see the recipe for this Virginia Tech offense, and that is running the football. And Kyron Drones, you have to be saying he's young too. Or what, a redshirt sophomore, super highly touted out of high school. You're starting to see him put it together, have a little bit more confidence in that quarterback position. But most of all, he's allowed Virginia Tech to get that run game going. They ran the ball for 363 yards against Boston College, 7.1 yards per carry. What was the big struggle we saw Virginia Tech have when Grant Wells was in at quarterback? And this, not really shot at Grant Wells, more just recognizing Kyron Drones brings another element to this Virginia Tech offense, but he helps them run the football. Like, they just really struggled to run the football early in the season. You add Kyron Drones, another hat that you have to be responsible for in terms of legs and using his athleticism out of the backfield. He's opened up the run game. When defenses have to respect that read option with the quarterback going to hurt you for 50 yards if you crash down, it leaves a little bit more open for guys like Tootin. So you look at this run game in this offense, it's predicated on the run game. When this offense is cooking, they're running the football really well. You go back to Syracuse, you look back at Boston College. This is an offense that with Kyron Drones at the quarterback spot has been able to run the football better. And that's led to a ton of success for this Virginia Tech offense. And what happens when defenses need to start respecting that run game a little bit more? You start hitting some explosive plays. And I think Virginia Tech, you go back and watch that Boston College game beautifully. You're seeing the offensive coordinator and offensive play callers get more comfortable with what Drones can do and starting to kind of get in their bag a little bit in terms of the play calling. And they're using Drones and what he's good at, and it's opening up the pass game. Teams are kind of putting bodies in the box to stop what they're doing running the football. Then they're getting out to the perimeter. And they did a nice job. And I know they've suffered some injuries, but they did a really nice job getting some athletes on the outside that can make plays. Last year, the narrative was they just didn't have many playmakers at the wide receiver position. This year they do, and you're starting to see a more explosive offense. This is going to be a good matchup. A Virginia Tech offense that's finding its stride versus an NC State defense that's one of the best groups in the ACC. Flipping sides here, NC State on offense. It's been a struggle, and I think a lot of people, including NC State fans, were really excited for Brendan Armstrong, Tony and I to Robert and I, excuse me, to get a little bit kind of get that magic back from the Virginia days. And it just hasn't happened. You look at some of the numbers, 22 points per game, that's 91st, 4.7 yards per play, that's 115th. You look at this NC State offense, and it just with Brennan Armstrong in there, they don't have a ton of identity, right? They don't run the football extremely well. Their best run game is with Brennan Armstrong and kind of not even designed sometimes, just him trying to be an athlete, getting outside the pocket. The passing game, not great under Brennan Armstrong. They do have some playmakers. Kevin Concepcion, the true freshman. I mean, that if there's one positive down the stretch for NC State is they're seeing Kevin Concepcion as their guy, and they're getting him the football in every single way possible, whether it's carries out of the backfield, whether it's using him as a wide receiver, whatever it may be. Sometimes in college football, when you don't have an identity, you got to find playmakers. And I think NC State has found a playmaker in Kevin Concepcion who has given this offense a ton of juice. Looking at this Virginia Tech defense, it starts with this pass rush. This is a pass rush that is sacking the quarterback 11.9% of dropbacks. That's number 3 in the country. And you go back to that Boston College, they didn't even have a sack in that game, but you're seeing this front seven be extremely disruptive. I mean, Powell Ryland, I don't know if I could name you many more impactful transfers than what he's given Virginia Tech up front. You look at what they did against Boston College, they only had 262 yards of total offense. And you're going to see a lot of the same concepts for NC State, using the quarterback in the run game like Boston College did. You look at the secondary, Dorian Strong, Mansour Delane, like this is a really, really good Virginia Tech defense. We knew it would be good heading into the year. With this Virginia Tech offense finding its stride, finding its rhythm, finding its identity, this is a Virginia Tech team in general that's hit its stride down the stretch of this game. Now you get to the pick here. NC State coming in on the road, 2.5-point underdogs. This is a really tough spot because I like this NC State team. When you play defense as well as NC State plays, like you're going to be in a lot of these games. Why did you beat a team like Clemson? Because you're playing an elite level of defense. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech. And a lot of the Virginia Tech fans know, like, I am extremely excited about Coach Brent Pry. I think it's a couple things that make me lean Virginia Tech here. One, this is a team that is playing for a bowl game at home, Lane Stadium. I think the environment is going to be off the charts. And this is, I've talked with a lot of you guys in the comment section. There is a ton of optimism around this program. And that's not to say that NC State's going to come in and have nothing to play for and lay down. That is not what Dave Doran teams do. I just have a little less confidence in Brennan Armstrong running this offense than what I do with Kyron Drones, especially going back and watching what they did against Boston College. Book it. Give me Virginia Tech to get this win at home, get to a bowl game. The stock for Virginia Tech going in the right direction. And again, I love this NC State program too. Very excited for this game. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.